Islam represents peace and submission to the will of God. Unfortunately, the activities of certain individuals and groups who claim to be Muslims continue to tarnish the image of their religion. They not only quote from the Quran to support their claims, but perpetrate all forms of violence. But the Ahmadiyya community stands tall in its defense of Islam. I'm in London for an exclusive interview with the spiritual head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, Hadzrat Mirza Masroor Ahmed, on a wide range of issues. But first, let's watch this short intro about the Ahmadiyya community.
We shall win the hearts of every person with love, and that is our main objective.
The Ahmadiyya Muslim community is a religious organization, international in its scope, with branches in over 189 countries. This is the most dynamic denomination of Islam in modern history, with worldwide membership exceeding tens of millions. The Ahmadiyya community, within a century, has reached the corners of the earth. Wherever the community is established, it endeavors to exert the constructive influences of Islam through social projects, educational institutes, health services, and the construction of community centers, despite being bitterly persecuted in some countries. Throughout the world, the Ahmadiyya community is a recognized force for peace, education, and healthcare.
Islam seems to have become synonymous with violence, but there is only one voice that seems to be projecting the beauty and true teachings of Islam. That is the Ahmadiyya community. I am privileged and let me say blessed to have the spiritual head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, Hadzrat Mirza Masroor Ahmed, right here in his office to seek his views on a wide range of issues confronting Islam and Africa. His Holiness, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Right. His Holiness, being the spiritual head of the Ahmadiyya community, you must be worried about the state of Islam currently. What is the extent of your worry?
I'm not worried in the sense of the state of Islam. As far as the Islam in the present age is concerned, there is a person, and now his Jamaat after his demise and the rightly guided Khilafat, who is trying to do their level best to tell the world what is the true Islam. The worry is that present day media and press is projecting that Islam which has nothing to do with the teachings of Islam which have been elaborated and given in the Holy Quran. But media is not taking up the voice of the truly guided community which came to existence according to the prophecy of the Holy Prophet of Islam. But as I have said earlier, in the present day or in this age, media has very vital role. And instead of taking our message and spreading and telling to the world, they are taking that message which is actually defaming the name of Islam. So we are trying our level best and we are succeeding in it. This is why you would see that every year hundreds of thousands of people join the community. And people, whenever this true message is given to the world, the people, Muslims, non-Muslims, even those who have no religion, atheists, they praise and they like the teaching. Although there is a worry, but we are not disappointed. We have been doing our job, and we hope, inshallah, one day we will succeed. Somebody asked me in Indonesia, in Singapore, from Indonesia, that it will take long time. So it takes long time. It might take long time, but we are never going to give up. We shall continue our task unless we achieve our target, and that target is to spread the true message of Islam.
His Holiness, on the same issue, despite the good works that the Ahmadiyya community is doing globally, there seems to be persecution of its members in some parts of the world, and at times it is so intense. Does this in any way affect your commitment to project the truth?
The thing is, you have to specify the part of the world, and that part is only Muslim countries. Only in Islamic countries we have been declared non-Muslims, or we are being persecuted because of this. And on top amongst all is Pakistan. The opposition in Pakistan has gone to the extent, as I have said, that they have amended their constitution and declared Ahmadis as not Muslims, not non-Muslims. The constitution says Ahmadis are not Muslims for the purpose of law and constitution. So this is ridiculous law. So because of this law, Ahmadis cannot name themselves as Muslims name. Ahmadis cannot construct their mosques or cannot call the place of their worship mosque according to the law. Ahmadis cannot recite Kalma Tayyibah, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Ahmadis cannot say Assalamu alaikum. So this obnoxious law is there. So despite that, you would see that in those 54 countries of the world, we are spreading our message. We are increasing in number. Even in Pakistan, every year some 1,000 people come to join us. And even in other Middle Eastern countries. So people are coming to join us. So when they realize that this is the true Islam, they know. When they see through MTA, Al Arabiya or other MTA channels, that this is the Ahmadiyya community, Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, which is giving the true message of Islam. This is the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, which is refuting all the filthy allegations against Islam by the non-Muslims. So when they come to know that their mullahs, so-called clerics, they cannot answer these things. Only this is Ahmadiyya community. So when they realize this thing, they come and join us. And there are so many other countries of the world where you will see, even in Ghana, thousands of people are joining Ahmadiyya every year. Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Mali. Mali is a Muslim country. Niger. We are increasing in number there, mashallah. And South America, Europe, America, North America. So, despite all these things, Ahmadiyya community is flourishing. And although we are not, you can say the pace of progress is too small, but even then it is in hundreds of thousands. And one day we shall win, inshallah.
One issue which I observed was a source of worry to you at the recent peace symposium was about the issue of extremists.
Extremists.
You spoke about ISIS, but I want to ask you this one on Boko Haram because it is near Nigeria. Most of the youth in Africa are falling into the hands of Boko Haram, who continue to teach, let me say, strange ideologies and misrepresentations about Islam. What can be done to save the youth of Africa from falling into the hands of Boko Haram?
Whether it is ISIS or Taliban or Al-Qaeda or Boko Haram, they are the groups which are trying to achieve their vested interests in the name of Islam, and they have nothing to do with Islam. But the thing is, as I said in my address, these groups cannot live long or cannot even continue their notorious tasks without any help, right? Somebody is funding them. Either it is an open funding or underhand funding, right? So, because people are attracted, not only, you should not say people, the majority of Muslims, frustrated Muslim youth is attracted by these people. I don't think any Christian will ever go to join Boko Haram, right? Or any pagan from the northern part will go there, or any atheist. Even if they go, they first accept their Islam, which is not the right Islam, and then join Boko Haram. And in return, they give you some quite attractive amount of money. So these frustrated people who have no jobs, their economic conditions they see in their houses is very poor. So because of this, they are being attracted by these type of things. So if the governments want to control them, first thing, as I have said, that they should find out who is funding them. Number one, and number two, try to create jobs for the youth, the educated youth in their own country. Why you are wasting the fertile brain of your country? Whenever a person gets better education, he either migrates to other country and prove his potential there, either in science subjects or medicine or engineering or so on and so forth. Or if the leftover is even not being given proper chance to get jobs, and they are falling in the hands of Boko Haram. So if their funding is cut, then they will die their own death.
Right. His Holiness, you have lived in Africa before, and I'm sure you may have come to appreciate that the African is naturally religious. But unfortunately, you realized that Africa is going through a lot of challenges. HIV, AIDS, currently Ebola. Why is Africa suffering this way?
You see, these outbreaks of any epidemic disease is not because of being an African or European or Asian. In that region, the hygienic quality of the food and the living standard is not up to the mark. That is one of the causes, right? Even if you go to Pakistan, there you will see this the same thing in the rural area. The level of different type of diseases is very high there, and there's high life risk and threat there. So this Ebola outbreak is because of some certain virus or some bacteria. So there might be some good conditions or atmosphere or environment there which is helping the virus to flourish. And because of lack of proper hygiene and the level of standard of living, people do not care, even because of poor level of economy, the economic level of a family. They cannot get medical aid at the right time. So if a person gets this virus or disease, if he will not be treated properly, when he dies, then this virus or bacteria or whatever the disease transfers to the family, then to the village, and you would see that in the southern part of Sierra Leone, the spread of this outbreak was there, right? But now that the southern part, the people of the southern part are being treated properly, and World Health Organizations have started their projects there. So because of this, they are now being properly treated, and this virus has gone to the northern side, right? And there you would see more cases. So it is the duty of the government and the health department to provide the basic health needs to the people. And it is the duty of the local administration to see to it that the people are being given proper accommodation. The way they live should not be as if a European can never think of it, right? Here, if you are going to construct a house, council will come and see where are you going to put your toilet, how many toilets, how many showers, how many sinks, how many rooms, how many people are going to take this house. Then is there enough facility for the drainage? If council sees that in certain area, if the drainage facility is not up to the mark, they will not allow to build a house there. But what we see there, everything is open. All this open field. As the population is growing, increasing, the hygiene problems are increasing. So this economic conditions are actually the basic cause of all these things. So if there's proper living conditions are provided by the government there to the public, you would not see this much outbreak of diseases there.
His Holiness, but despite all these problems confronting Africa, do you believe that Africa one day can lead the world?
If they realize their importance, they will lead the world. There are educated people in Africa. There's fertile brain in Africa, although it's being drained going to other parts of the world, or I should say it is draining because of lack of job facilities there, job attractions there, lack of their value in their respective countries. So if you realize, and if the people realize that they have to serve for their country, for the nation, if a person gets higher education here in the UK or from the United States or from any other Western countries, if he makes it compulsory to himself, obligatory to him, that he will serve the nation for 10 years before thinking of going outside after completing his education, then you would see there will be a lot of change there. Huge change.
Okay, His Holiness, you've written a lot of letters to world leaders on the need for them to realize peace as an essential requirement of justice. But I don't know whether to say there weren't letters to African leaders. What advice?
They are already peaceful people. They are not troubleshooters, right? These are the big powers who are actually creating all this problem. But despite that, whenever there is any Pan-African or any function with regards to African countries on Independence Days, there are 2 or 3 Independence Days celebrated here in the UK organized by the Jamaat, and therein I spoke at length that the governments, African governments, should now realize their importance and their duties towards their countries, and never fall prey in the hands of those Western governments who are trying to, in Ghanaian proverb, chop you. Eh? Right?
Right. His Holiness, when you came to Africa, specifically Ghana, in 1977, I was only 1 year, so I couldn't have known the works that you did. But we've come to read a lot about you, from our leaders, and then also in books. What do you find unique about Africans? I don't want to narrow it to Ghana.
About Ghanaians, in particular, the patience level of Ghanaians is very high. I have never seen that patient threshold anywhere in the world. Even during those days, the economy of Ghana was totally broken down, ruined. You could not get even a bread from the open market. For a loaf of bread, you will have to make line at that time. And sometimes you would see early morning, before Fajr prayer even, people will make queue of 400, 500 people in front of a kiosk, where our government van or some bakery's van will come to sell the bread, holding 4, 5, 6 cities or some even more, I think, for a small loaf of bread. But they would come early morning, make a queue, person will go to get a loaf of bread on his turn or her turn, right? Then after 2, 3 hours, the shop is empty. The van which has brought the bread is now nothing inside. Even then, people would not say anything to the shopkeeper or to the van driver who has brought this, or they will go back without anything after waiting for 3 or 4 hours, empty-handed. So this is the patience, and after 3-4 hours you would see them taking some small quantity of groundnut and a piece of baked or fried piece of yam or cassava, and that is enough for them. So this tolerance level, patience level is very high, and that impressed me too much. I was thinking that one day, if they showed in this way, they will teach the world what is patience. And they are happy all the time. So you are the outcome of those happy days.
That's interesting, His Holiness. His Holiness, perhaps finally, Maulvi Abdul Wahab Adam represents a symbol of peace and the face of Ahmadiyyat in Ghana. Unfortunately, we lost him. If you were to say one thing, I know you could say a lot, one thing to those watching you in Ghana and in Africa, what would you say about Maulvi Wahab Adam?
He was a man of faith, man of sacrifice, man who knew what is devotion for the sake of his faith, for the sake of his country, for the sake of his people. He spent his whole life not only for the cause of peace, as you have said, but to bring peace in the country. Practically, he was involved in it.
His Holiness, we want to thank you very much, but when are you visiting Ghana?